Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I want to welcome you, every one of you, to today's lecture series, which is a continuation of word groupings in English that we discussed the last time. Today's focus will be on nouns, which is one of the problematic areas for non-native speakers of the English language. What are nouns? In fact, from our secondary school knowledge, a lot of students will define nouns as the name of any person, animal, place, or things. At this level of your educational career journey, you must understand that your definition of noun should be better than those in the secondary or in the primary schools. Okay, so today we are looking at nouns. Now let me define. I would simply from the word noun. The word comes from the Latin word nomen, which means a name. Nomen, the Latin word nomen, a name. Okay, which means nouns are naming words. So whatever has a noun in the word, whatever has a name in the word is a noun. Just name it. Pen, house, gate, sky. Okay, it's a noun because it is a name that it names specific things, people, ideas, animals, things, concepts, emotions, feelings, philosophy, ideas, systems. So name it. So both concrete and abstract things carries a name because it is the name that helps us to identify them as well for what they are and the roles they play in the social space. Okay, so both the physical things and spiritual things have names. So we classify anything that has a name under the word class nouns. So it can also include the names of historical events. Okay, it can include title of ranks. Okay, institutions, agencies, days, weeks, months, years, special days of observance. Okay, holy days, or holidays. So everything in life is given a name. Without a name, a thing is non-existent. Can you imagine a baby without a name? Okay, so besides, one of the surest way to identify a noun is that if the word could be preceded by an article. For example, what's our article? A, and D. Okay, or it can be preceded by an adjective or a possessive pronoun. So a word can take any form of sound. Now, so whatever has a name is classified under the grouping of under the word class nouns. I want to establish that in your mind already. Okay, since this has been established, now I want to go further than that to look at now what are the forms that a noun can take. Okay, what are the forms that when I see that okay this structure is a noun, not a verb or not an adjective, how can I know them? One of them now, which is our next focus, forms of nouns. Well, number one is what we call plural tantrums. Number two, summation plurals. Number three, static plural nouns. Number four, zero singular nouns. I'm going to take them one by one. Number five, plural forms of numbers, letters, and abbreviations. Okay, now let's take the first one, plural tantrums. Plural tantrums, these are singular noun forms that appear as plural. I take it again. Plural tantrums are singular noun forms that appear as plural. They are sibilant sounds. Though they are sibilant sounds, they are not regarded as plural. What are sibilant sounds? They often end with S or an S. I'll give examples. I repeat, plural tantrums are noun forms that appear as plurals, but they are not plurals. Though they are sibilant sound, they end with a sibilant sound, they are regarded as plural nouns. Examples of plural tantrums include the following words: politics, mathematics, statistics, physics, metaphysics, linguistics, ethics, ceramics, gymnastics, measles, snakes and ladders, tennis, the ladies. I want to use the ladies. Yes, elephantiasis, headquarters. Headquarters is singular, not plural, even though they appear as plural. Okay, Netherlands, that's the name of a country, of a European country. The United Nations, yes. Phonetics, semantics, economics, sneakers, the United States. Okay, blazers, tuberculosis, elephantiasis, and the news, okay, electronics, even Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, Windows 13. All of these are examples of plural tantrums. They are forms of noun known as plural tantrums. Though they end with a sibilant sound s, please take note that they are not regarded as plural. They are singular they may be plural in form, but in meaning they are singular. I go to the next one, summation plurals. I repeat, summation plurals. These are nouns that end with s and have plural sense or meanings. I repeat, these are nouns that end with sibilant sounds and have what? Plural meanings. Yes. The earlier one, we call them plural tantrums because they end with s but do not what? Do not carry what? Plural sense. But this one now, summation plurals they end with s but carry what? Have plural sense. Examples of summation plurals are tools and dresses of two equal parts. Yes, tools and dresses of two equal parts. Examples include pliers. So I heard over time people saying, go and get, I need a plier. No, the word is pliers, not plier. These are dresses or tools or equipment with two equal parts. Trousers. I don't know who took away my trousers. Shorts. Okay. Knickers. Sandals. Sandals. Clippers. Okay. Clippers. Okay. Stockings. I don't know who took my stocking. No, it's not. That's not the right word. Okay. Scissors. Please take note. We said that these are summation plurals. Glasses. You don't say who took my glass. No, it's glasses. Okay. Binoculars. Okay. Pinchers. Nail clippers. What Nigerians will call nail cutters. Nail clippers. They are known as nail clippers in the standard English. Okay. Hinges. The door hinges. Okay. Suspenders that you always have on you, or that men always have. So on their shorts or trousers. What we are saying is that summation plurals are nouns that end with s and have a plural sense. So we have listed examples because they have plural sense because they have two equal parts, and these are examples: pliers, trousers, shorts, knickers, stockings, scissors. Yes, scissors, glasses, binoculars. Okay, binoculars. Okay, pinchers, nail clippers, and the rest of them. Now we go to the third one, which is static plural nouns. I repeat, static plural nouns. Why are they called static plural nouns? Because these are nouns that are plural that are naturally plural in form and in meanings. Please, I often use the word sense to mean meaning. Okay, in form and in forms and in meanings. Yes, static plural nouns often come in what? They cannot be used in a singular sense. Okay, the earlier one we talked about were plural tantrums followed by summation plurals. Now this one, they are called static plurals, plural nouns, because they are plural both in form and in meaning. Anywhere you see them, the verb that must follow must be plural in plural form. Examples: ashes, okay, arrears, looks, manners. There's nothing like manner. She has bad manner. No, it's manners. Okay, she had bad manners. Fireworks. The festive period will soon be closed now. Where you have what? Fireworks. Okay, fireworks. Okay, we have the minutes of a meeting. The minutes of a meeting. Okay, archives. They are plural in both in meaning and in form. Goods and services. Regards. Or send my regards to your family. Regards. Riches and the rest of them. Okay, savings, earnings, honor, spirit, thanks, all of the remains, even the word beans. I know some of you like eating beans a lot, which is good and good for your health. Damages, all of these, okay, harms, among others. When I'm talking about harm, I'm talking about weapons. Okay, weapons. So all of these are examples of static plural nouns. They have what? They are both naturally plural in form and in meanings. Then the next one is zero singular nouns. I take it zero singular nouns. These are nouns that appear as singular but do not make a distinction whether they are singular or plural when they are used in a sentence. I take it 0 singular nouns. They appear as singular, but they do not make a distinction between it being singular or plural when they are used in sentences. In other words, they are non-count nouns used to refer to a group of people or items. Okay, thus they cannot be pluralized. For example, we have examples include information, stationery, furniture, luggage, ship, so or advice. You cannot say you want to make them plural, okay, by saying informations. You cannot say stationaries. You cannot say furnitures. Neither can you say luggages or ships, all of or advices, all of this, because they belong to the form known as 0 singular nouns. Therefore, they are classified as, depends on what you want to, whether you use them, when you use them in a sentence, they can both serve both as plural or singular in nature. Similar, so some can treat some of them as singular. For example, she gave me a piece of good advice. Okay, a piece of good advice. Okay, so we have other examples: cutlery, ammunition, slang, underwear. You cannot have underwears unless you are talking about underwears of two different individuals, or a package of underwears. Okay, we cannot. So you can, when you talk about underwear, you are talking about, see, of course we know that you can use as singular or plural, so you don't have to make it obvious. Okay, so they are classified as collective items. So I gave her a piece of advice, not I gave her an advice. Okay, or you say, so the word a piece of advice is a partitive used to classify. So another good example is she's a member of staff at my workplace, not she's a staffer at my workplace. Even the word staff is also a 0 singular noun, because they can be singular or plural, but you cannot, as a speaker of the English language, decide to make it singular by your own self. The next one is plural forms of numbers. How do we pluralize numbers, letters, and abbreviations in English? How do we do that? Number A, let me mention A. A now is that you add S only to plural forms of numbers. You add only S to plural forms of numbers. For example, she was born in the 1980s. So you only add S to the 80 after the 0. No apostrophe, please. Okay? She was born in the 1980s. Fela became an Afrobeat musician in the 1970s. The word 19070 plus S is enough. No apostrophe. So that is how you pluralize numbers. The Second World War took place in the 1940s. Of course, we knew it was between 1939 and 1944. But you can make it short that the Second World War took place in the early 1940s. So by writing 1940 and small letter S. So we can, now let's look at how do we add pluralize apostrophe S to the plural form of single letters. How do we pluralize letters? When you write, always dot your I's and cross your T's. In this case, that of how you pluralize numbers is different from how you pluralize letters. I'll give you an example. I'll demonstrate it. Now, when you write 1980, or my mother was born in the 1970 or 1960, you only add S. But now when you want to pluralize letters, okay, always cross your I's and dot your T's before you leave the exam hall. I is a letter, T is a letter. Therefore, there must be an apostrophe before the S, unlike the one of that number. Okay, all my children's names, okay, begin with F's. There are people like that. Or some people's name, all the 4 children they have, or the 3 children they have, all their names begin with T. We have Tola, we have Tenny, we have Tayo. So you want to say that, you can now say all my children's names begin with T, or letter or T's. T with capital letter T, apostrophe, and S. Okay. I'm going to ensure that all my grades this semester will be B's or A's. By doing that, the capital letter A must come with an apostrophe and S. That is how to pluralize letters as against numbers. Then you have the next one. How do we pluralize multiple letters? Multiple letters. Now, I've just talked about single letters, T's, A's, and F's. Okay. Now, when you want to pluralize multiple letters, when I'm talking about multiple letters, I'm talking about abbreviations. Okay, what you already know. NECO, WAEC. These are multiple letters. You want to pluralize it. Now, what you do is you only add S, no apostrophe. We sign several MOUs with different multinational companies. Your M, capital M, O, and U, but small letter S, no apostrophe, please. We sign several MOUs with different multinational companies. M, capital letter M, O, U, S. Whoever reads it will understand that it is also known as what? Memorandum of Understandings. Well, let me put another example. I have a lot of IOUs against my name this month. I have a lot of IOUs against my name this month. IOU, capital letter I, O, and U, small letter S. That is how to pluralize IOU letters, multiple letters, not single letters that I mentioned earlier. Okay, so taxation is as simple as ABC. You can also do that. Taxation is as simple as ABC. So with a small letter S after the word C. All the applicants should drop their CVs with the principal secretaries. All the applicants should drop their CVs with the principal secretary. The CV will have capital letter C and V plus small letter A's. The federal government has just established new MDAs, capital letter MDA and small letter S. So all of this show that this is how we can pluralize multiple letters. Then we'll go back to the next one. How do we pluralize abbreviations with inner periods like CEO, PhD, and PAs? Now, when you want to pluralize abbreviations with inner periods, I attended a conference of CEOs last week. Yes, CEO. When you put a dot in between them, there must be an apostrophe before the S. Or my father has more than 2 PhDs from 2 different universities before he passed on. Your PH plus must have a dot, and after the D must have a dot. Then you put an apostrophe S. So we can go on and on. Then we'll go over to the next one, irregular plural nouns. Irregular plural nouns. These are nouns that do not follow the regular patterns of plural nouns. You know, our regular pattern of plural nouns, you add IES to Y, to certain Y, while you add only ES to some, while you add only S to some nouns. So this we call them irregular plural nouns because they follow a different pattern in their plural formations. I'm going to take you. They follow the way they are being pluralized is not the way others take IES or ES or S. So, for example, examples of base plural forms, the word there, DER. The plural form is there. You cannot add S to it. So it's zero. Is that a zero plural form? Fish. You cannot have fishes. Okay. There are many fishes in the ocean. There are several fish in the ocean. There are many. So we have to be very careful. Sheep. You cannot have sheeps. SHEEPS. Okay. Moose. You cannot have mooses. MOOSES. We also have mid-vowel change, where we can also change some nouns based on the mid-vowel formation. Mouse can become mice. MOUSE become MICE as plural form. Terminus, bus terminus is one. Bus termini is plural. TERMINI. Fungus, singular. While fungi is plural. FUNGI. Syllables is singular, while syllabi is plural. We also have octopus. Octopus is plural and singular, while the plural form is octopi. Okay, you have to bear that in mind also. Then go to the next one. Please don't forget, we are talking about how we pluralize irregular nouns, irregular plural nouns. We also have the one that take en plurals. We have the word child, and the plural form becomes children. We have the word ox. OX becomes oxen. We have brother, brethren. So for you to master these irregular pluralization, you have to use them in sentences regularly. So if you are in doubt, you can consult your dictionary beyond my explanation. Now let's look at the pluralization of hyphenated nouns. How do we pluralize hyphenated nouns? In my previous video, I talked about hyphenated nouns, hyphenated words, where the words that are what separated by hyphens. So as hyphenated nouns are nouns that are linked with a hyphen, of course, as I've said earlier, and it often consists of 2 or more words Now, the singular form of hyphenated noun is one, mother-in-law. The plural form become what? Mothers-in-law, father-in-law, fathers-in-law. So that is if you have several, maybe you're having a gathering of different in-laws. So you can now have, okay, maybe your mother's younger siblings, okay, they are coming with their in-laws to your house. Say we have several mother-in-laws or fathers-in-laws in father-in-law in the house. You don't pluralize the last word, you pluralize the content word, and the content word in that hyphenated word is the first word, mothers. We also have the word passers-by. Passers-by, not pass-by. Passer-bys. No, they are passers-by, not passer-bys. Okay, but the key word is passers. We have runners-up. Runners-up, not runner-ups. Okay, runners-up, not runner. Editors-in-chief, not editor-in-chief. So not editor-in-chiefs, is editors-in-chief, because the focus is on editors. Okay, so in chief is just an appendage. Okay, so we have chiefs of staff. Okay, chiefs of staff. We have coats of arms or commanders in chief. So we can also have president elect. For example, maybe we have the president of several departments. They about to be sworn in. You can now tell somebody we have 6 presidents elect being sworn in today. Okay, maybe from the School of Management and Business Studies or from the School of Engineering. We have 6 presidents elect and they will be sworn in today. Okay, so we can go on and but one variant, one difference is dry cleaners. And that's another key area. That's one of the exemptions in the English language. Dry cleaners. You cannot say dry cleaner. So so you have, as you learn the rules, you also learn the exceptions. One of the exceptions is the word dry cleaner, and the plural form becomes dry cleaners, as against fathers-in-law, as against passers-by, as against editors-in-chief, where the initial word carries the s, but in this case is the final word that carries the s, dry cleaners. So now let's go over to the last section of today's lecture, which is types of nouns. What are the types of nouns? We have proper nouns, the one you have been told before now. I've just talked about the one that you are not familiar with, then move to the one that you are familiar with, which are proper nouns, common nouns, collective nouns, abstract nouns, count nouns, and uncountable or non-count nouns. What are proper nouns? I'm just going to run over it because these are things that you are familiar with. Compound nouns, I often tell students, most of us have forgotten, or most of us believe we still know them. They are nouns that they are names of specific persons, cities, streets, even bus stops, towns, tribes, countries, continents, languages, organizations, titles, political parties, institutions, agencies, parastatals, even your religion, weekdays, and the rest of them. These are all proper nouns. Some of you will be writing the name of your organization, the name of the institution in small letters. And one of the attributes of proper nouns is that they always begin with a capital letter. Okay, these are some of the things you take for granted and that works against you, or that you don't know when you are writing your essays, and I'm drawing your attention to it so that you learn better today. These are names of institutions, organizations, weekdays, weekends, okay, ministries, countries, even your language. Some of you write Yoruba in small letter, capital, the Y in small letter. I'm Igbo, you write I in small letter, or Hausa, H in small letter. No, even your titles. So, Mr., you write it in small letter. Doctor, you write it in small letter. All of these indicate that your knowledge of the English language isn't sufficient. Okay, even the name of your bus stops, Maryland, okay, Fadeyi, Ikeja, capital letter I. Okay, Surulere must be in capital letter. Then the other thing, the second type of noun is common nouns. Common nouns, these are regarded as nouns because they are class of entities. Common nouns, they are class of entities, so they do not begin with capital letters, as against proper nouns. Okay, they appear as the beginning of a sentence or as a subject heading. Common nouns are names of animals, furniture, food that you like eating, objects, electronics, building types, professions. I'm an engineer, you can write it in small letter. Okay, subject. So example, table, chair, house, fire, chief, bucket, pizza. Okay, medical doctor. Medical doctor. You don't need to make it a capital letter. Television. Okay, tiger. That's the name of animal. Then the next one is abstract noun. These are nouns that cannot be touched because they are basically feelings, emotions, or concepts, or ideas. So they include examples: happiness, hostility, pride, humility, virtue, greed, beauty, democracy, love. All of these things cannot see them. They are abstract entities. So they are class. They can what? Philosophy, even regret, joy, glory, and the rest of them. Collective nouns. Next one is collective noun. Of course, these ones are what indicate a group of people. Indicate a group of people in a particular place. We can talk about public, the police, congregation, army, crowd, and the next one, uncountable nouns. Uncountable nouns. These are nouns that cannot be counted or measured. Examples include the word bread, soap, chocolate, wood, sugar, gum, flowers, sheep, banana, cigarette, ice, water. So for you to pluralize salt or sugar, for you to pluralize this, you must use what we call partitives. What are partitives? These partitives are used to measure in quantity a noun, an uncountable noun. Okay, partitives are used to measure the quantity of what? The uncountable noun. For example, you talk about a loaf of bread. You cannot say I ate bread this morning. No, it's grammatically wrong, because you have to indicate, did you eat 2 loaves of bread? Did you eat, because I know some of you like eating a lot. Some of you can eat even 4 loaves of bread. You say, because I'm not satisfied, I need more. So so you talk about a loaf of bread, or even slices of bread. And I told 2 or 3 slices of bread a day, I'm satisfied. In the morning as breakfast, take my cup of tea and get out of the house. Okay, because I need to measure the quantity of what I take. Okay, so okay, then we can also talk about a bar of soap. Okay, how many? Okay, I have a bar of soap, a bar of chocolate, a block of wood, a cube of sugar, a stick of cigarette. I saw 2 sticks of cigarette on the roadside coming now. Or I saw a stick of cigarette, a bunch of flowers, or a bouquet of flowers. Yes, that's also acceptable. A bunch of flowers, a flock of sheep. Okay, a bunch of banana. Yes, I bought a bunch of banana on my way home, for mommy. Okay, or for daddy. Okay, a block of cube of ice, or a cube of ice, or a block. A load of grain or sand, a plate of food. Yes, I know that one, you are familiar with that one. And give me a plate of food. How many plates of food do you want? So a cup, a glass of water, and a pinch of salt. So today we have been able to, for the last 20 or so minutes, we have been able to look at nouns in detail by looking at the definition and defining it as anything that has a name is classified as a noun. We have also seen the forms of nouns: plural tantrums, summation plurals, static plurals, zero singular plurals, plural forms of numbers, letters, and abbreviations. Then we also talked about irregular plural nouns and the pluralization of hyphenated nouns. Then lastly, we talked about types of noun. So in case you have questions, you can drop your questions and your comments, observation in the comment section. I will also appreciate if you can subscribe to this channel, so that as I upload subsequent videos, you will be updated. Thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.